Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again. How are we all doing? I'm really glad to be back, and it's good to continue again. So, let's find out what's going on. So, Hong Kong is just barely holding on at this point in time. I'm very much considering just completely abandoning the shock attacks, because our troops are, let's face it, they are ravaged. Like, absolutely ravished. Ravaged by the sheer amount of fatigue and disruption. Though we have destroyed a great deal of the British forces over here. The city would have fallen days ago had our troops not had such severe disruption and fatigue. Though in fairness, I should have sent in new troops, fresh troops that would have completed the assault. Though we should capture Hong Kong before the 25th, so at least it still will be earlier. The 38th Division has taken a battering, so it might be that we actually place them potentially in reserve, perhaps. Though, I imagine the British forces over here, they cannot replace their losses. They are consistently being hammered by the air and ground. It's not looking good for them. Ah, hello there, Tom. How you doing, my dude? So is this a new game you are playing? Yep, this is indeed a new game, new campaign. A few hours into it at this point though, so that's pretty decent. On the 21st of December. Right, so we can see some Chinese forces approaching Amorf to the south. We do have a good amount of assault value over there, so we should be sufficiently able to fight off the Soviets in that area. Now, we did achieve a great victory over here at Changchao, which has really opened up the way forward. We do still have to deal with these Chinese forces at Kaifeng, which is going to be a little bit more difficult. We do have reinforcements being tasked towards that area, basically the RGC 10th Division and the NCPC brigade over there. So that should be enough strength to throw the battle and ideally crush that Chinese corps. We do have the forces over here. I was hoping the 13th Tank Regiment would have been enough to break their resolve, but it's actually not. We don't have enough troops as of yet, so we do need to actually build up the numbers there. We do have the 13th Division. Obviously I can't move them because I do not want to lose the base at Xinjiang, so I need to move something else ideally. Which is going to take a long time, irritatingly enough. Though, in fairness, we don't have that much in terms of a garrison at Hankow, so I'm somewhat reluctant to send extra forces from Hankow. We should be able to find something from elsewhere. Now, I'd like to see with these two destroyers, the Kari and the Inagi. Doing great on day 5 of my vacation. Nice one there, Tom. I'm glad to hear about that. A new game, did you start over? Is it still the same series? It's still the same series, I suppose, if you count this series as the series. It's not the original Grand Campaign. This is a second take on it with more experience, and in general, things will be better. Okay, so let's take a look if we can do a bombardment mission. I mean, these are only 2 destroyers, but at the end of the day, it would make a difference to be able to bombard. So let's see. Can we reach them over here? We can't move that far inland. That's a shame. I mean, that would have really opened things up. It's a shame that there's no Chinese forces closer. We might be able to engage over there, so we'll check just to make sure. No, we can't move that far inland. That's a shame. Seems like we can only move up the main river here, and that seems to be about it. If we could have moved in there, that would have been very nice. We are basically building up momentum for an assault on Changsha. We do have the 2 parts of the 40th Division, C and B over here. A is traveling along with the 6th and 3rd Division as we're trying to make a right hook towards Changsha and really deal a blow there. We were originally having the 4th Indo-Chinese Mixed Regiment advance on Nanning. But due to the amount of forces there, I mean, 31,920 troops, that's a lot of men. I mean, compared to this force, which is only made up of just over 3,000, close to 4,000, but not quite. So we're going to instead go for the base at Pakhoi, which does have some resources. Interestingly enough, it does have a decent port capacity. And an airfield. Now, an airfield is mightily useful. as we do have two airfields over here, of course, but having one closer is always nice. We do have one at Canton, So that's always good. I mean, for Canton, I might actually dispatch some more forces. The issue is it's going to take them some time to get there. So it might be that we rest our forces. Perhaps. I think what we'll do then is we'll have the 66th Infantry Regiment on reserve. No pursuit. I just want them to hold on here and just recover, basically. Probably the best thing to do. And in fact, we'll do the same with the 38th Division. I mean, they are heavily fatigued, heavily disrupted. If they have a little bit of time, it might be great for them, but we'll see. Do we do that, though? I mean, I'm missing out on a day of absolutely devastating the forces there. I guess we'll not do that. We'll have the regiment, but I suppose they will stay in deliberate attack. I mean, we are consistently hurting them now. I mean, they're taking heavy casualties. And let's see, operational report. Can we find any action at Hong Kong? Right. Could probably be in combat report. Right, here we go, this will be better. Okay. Looking for Hong Kong, which would be here. So you can see here that we're engaging. They still do have some sufficient forces there to keep it out of our hands for the time being, but they are taking heavy casualties. And I just wish I could see the disruption there. I'd imagine it's going to be a great victory in the end. We did capture a Chinese headquarters, actually, which was really quite good. At least a Chinese force. We do have a large group of potentially American forces over there, or potentially Filipino forces. Either way, we need to keep them out of our way. We are moving towards our objectives over here at Kaminatuyan? I don't know how you say that or pronounce it. But we are moving towards Manila as fast as possible. We do have forces approaching the south as well. We are gearing up for an invasion over here, a historical invasion of these islands. So we do have the Bushido task force, which is one that we put together hastily, with the Ryujo Zuiho Hosho. Now, I could do with having some fuel sent this way. We do have an oiler, which is obviously loading up some fuel via Euro. I mean, 8,000 litres is actually quite a substantial amount, so that should be decent enough. We do have a bunch of amphibious transports on standby. It might be worth to actually load some forces here. I mean, we do have the 8th Tank Regiment over here, which does have a great deal of armour. That's actually a sufficiently large amount of armour to make a big difference. We also do have a full-blown infantry regiment, which is very nice. Field artillery as well with some 15cm guns. Those aren't exactly anything to laugh at. Engineer regiment, very nice. Okay, we also do have some naval guard, which I do need to put to great use. So I think what we'll do then is we'll actually start to load up some of these forces then. That might be a good idea. Okay, so we're going to load troops. I do need to put my troops into strategic mode so that they can be moved. Okay. Right, here we go. Right, better. So we won the 146th. So we've got the engineers, we just need the artillery now. How do I have the engineers? 17, yeah, that's the artillery there. Okay, we'll go with this then, the engineer regiment. There we go. So we'll load these forces on the transport. Okay. Oh, so they need to be in combat mode. Okay, fair enough. Learn something new. Oh, no, wait. No. Right. Okay, fair enough. Seems it needs to be in combat mode. I thought it was strategic mode, but no, I got it wrong. Select that force too. And that force. There we go. The 8th Tank Regiment as well. Awesome news. Okay, so we're going to verify our load. Yeah, there we go. 98% of troop space. We could add another ship just to... Yeah, there we go. More than enough now. So accept the load, and they're going to start loading on there. We do have a good amount of supply here. I don't want to load too much supply because it's not going to be needed. About 5k, maybe 10k at the absolute most. And that should see us through. But having some extra armor is going to be actually quite nice. We could use that to support the invasion over these islands here, or we could actually use it to support the invasion of the Philippines. It's nice to have that flexibility. Right, so we are still aware of the Lexington somewhere in the Tasman Sea or the Coral Sea. It's around here somewhere. We don't know exactly where it is. We are hunting it down. Kidabutai is in the Coral Sea. We will find her, inevitably. I do expect her to be in Sydney. That's what I'm expecting. That's where I imagine Lexington has gone. I don't think she'd really have the fuel for much else. She might stop over in Sydney and then fuel up and then leave again. So we'll see. Strategic mode, probably, yeah. It seems to be just for rail troops, transporting troops via rail. I assumed it was also so that they could be transported via amphibious transport. But seems I've been proven wrong, so that's fine. I'd rather be proven wrong than not learn something. Now, we do have the Guam cover force sent to Wake over here. So you can see this is really a lot more power. A lot more firepower in the area. And it's actually making a big difference. A significant difference to the actual engagement here at Wake. So what we need to do then is take a look at these forces here. So at the moment they're in defense. I can put them into bombardment. Start really racking up the amount of firepower over there. Right, we do have support over here. Submarine tenders. Replenish. Okay, so what I want to do then with these submarine tenders is I want to have them sent out to where they can be used. Though, to be fair, I'd probably be better off using them out here by Pearl Harbor. So I think we'll go for Laysan Island. Right, let's not go for the safest route. Normal. There we go. And if we have any other submarine tenders, I'd be very happy. Let's see, what is their AA value? Right, there we go. I mean, they are armed, so that's always a good thing to have. AA isn't exactly great. They have absolutely no ASW, but that's fine. I don't anticipate them being attacked by a submarine. At least I hope they don't get attacked by a submarine. So let's see. Do we have any other submarine tenders in the docks over here? I've not seen any. We might have something at truck. I haven't seen an auxiliary vessel, so let's take a look. We do have the Kashima light cruiser. We do have a few tankers. Yeah, there's our aircraft tender. Destroyer tender. That's pretty decent, actually. Good amount of AA, good amount of maneuver. Speed, yeah, speed isn't exactly what you'd call great, but I suppose it's useful. We do also have some ACMs. We also do have a repair dock, which is actually really damn handy. That can really help us repair a lot of shipping pretty damn quickly. Okay, so we've got our invasion set up. Right, we do have some transport over that way. Okay, so I think we decided on, yep, the base at Kendai. And the base at Manado. Manado. Namely because of the port capacity and air capacity. Yeah, definitely down here with air capacity. And it's also going to allow us to control the Banda Sea, and also we're going to try to make a move on controlling the Makassar Strait. The idea is that the Makassar Strait, we do have forces which have just landed over here at Kuching, which we're going to try to use to control the Java Sea. If we control the Java Sea and the Strait of Malacca, we can really shut down the Dutch East Indies to the Allied forces completely. Now, we do have the Haruna covering force over here. We do need to put some more fuel in Haruna. We did balance out the fuel earlier on to our disadvantage, honestly, with the transports. But I could just take the transports and take their fuel easily enough once we capture the base. So what we're going to do then is we're going to have this on bombardment, allow escorts to bombard, have that at 16,000 yards. Lovely. Awesome. So they're going to put down a hell of a bombardment on these British forces over here. Really allow our troops to not get their teeth kicked in. Right, we are moving down the Malayan Peninsula. We did defeat some forces over here quite easily. We are moving down here as well. Just over 1,000 troops there. We are moving a regiment across to Victoria Point. Ideally so that when we can get some transports moving up this way, we can transport these troops from Victoria Point. And really, we could do with taking Port Blair. If we take Port Blair, it does have some port capacity, it does have some air capacity, but importantly, make a great staging point just off the coast of Burma, really. And if we could go for Rangoon, that'd be beautiful to take, or Ceylon. That'd be beautiful to take. Okay, so strategic removal of resources is going ahead. I don't like the fact that these forces are unloading when they should be loading resources. I think there seems to be some kind of error between the saves or something. Like, they don't seem to remember all of their orders. Right, they're moving to Port Arthur. Right, they're moving down to their correct base to unload all these supplies, or all these resources. Thousands of tons of resources, which is going to be fantastic. So if we take a look at the actual tracker, bring it up over here, current turn. So it's still complaining about the vehicle points. The reason for that is obviously we're losing a few vehicles recently. Though we are increasing the amount of vehicle production, we have increased the amount of supplies at each of the vehicle production sites. Ideally we still have enough there, but we'll give a quick check to that in a few moments. A few airfields have been expanded, which is a really good thing to see. Kaifeng has lost some fortifications, so that is a little bit less well defended. So we do need more troops in that area as soon as possible. We captured a number of bases, which is really quite nice. We gained a few new ships actually. Osaka, another sub-chase, which is really very handy. Supposedly we sank the Tennessee. We know that we did deal some insane damage to the Allies in the last turn. I believe that we destroyed 2 to 3 light cruisers and a couple of destroyers over the course of the last session, which was really quite nice. Okay. Hello there, Snake. How are you doing? Right, industry. Okay. It's getting a little bit better. We just need to really keep things moving. Okay. Yeah, resources are changing. We are capturing more resource centers, which is quite nice. Just need to keep that up. Now, vehicle production is what I want to take a look at. This is where all resources are. Overview is what I'm looking for. Vehicle assembly. Yeah, so we're repairing over here. So these are repairing and obviously increasing in their size. So if we take a look at device history, you can see that vehicle assembly has been increasing. The amount of building has really increased over here. I mean, this, I suppose this would be a projection. I mean, we're surely not in turn 15. Are we in turn 15? Yes, we are in turn 15. Okay, wow. Apparently we didn't load a couple turns there. Yeah, so you can see that the amount of vehicles being produced has really increased. The amount of repair has decreased as obviously more factories are coming online. So that's good to see. Now these guys are actually complaining, so we'll have to take a look. Osaka, Kyoto. Let's take a look at our industry. Turn all of it off. Let's have vehicles. Supply is really good over here. They're at maximum. So it doesn't seem to be an issue with supply. It seems to be potentially a heavy industrial issue. Only 4 being produced here. Right, I'd like to up that. Not much of an increase there, but I mean, if we can do that, that's going to be quite nice. Double that will be decent. It would take about 40 heavy industry, though. 400 supply as well. I suppose we'll start the expansion. There's further expansion that we could do over here, actually. It might be worth it just to keep up the expansion, to be fair. There we go. Then again, that is a lot of heavy industry being used. So what we'll do then is we'll expand the smallest factories, try and keep them all sort of uniform in production. That'd be good. Good man, hoping to see Japanese kicking some Americans' arse. Be handy, wouldn't it? Okay. I mean, the war in China is really where it's at the moment. We do actually have the 14th RGC division on its way, and the 20th mixed, the Indonesian troops. Indo-Chinese troops, sorry. So that should be a good amount of power. That should be enough to actually break the battle over there. The 116th Division is moving over here. Let's see. So we do have the 22nd Division at Hankow. We do need to move forces around. Like, the 21st Division is a freaking strong division. That is a very strong division. Though the shame is that we can't really move anything out of Shanghai. It's a very important city, to be fair. And we also do need to increase the garrison over here, in all honesty. So let's see if we can spare any forces from here. That'd make a big difference in the end. So let's see. We're lacking... what are we lacking here? Let's get some information. Quite a lot, actually. Hello there, Lorenzo. How you doing? So we need about 80. Which is easily spareable. Should be able to do that. Let's do a little bit of maths quickly, just to make sure I don't want to move troops out of Shanghai and then not have enough troops. If we have the bare minimum garrison, then I'm fine with that. So, let's do this. Okay. There's really not that much. I'd have to... How much could I get away with moving? So I could move 103 worth. And that would be on the limit. What's up there, Blinson? How you doing? So, Blinson is the Battle Group Gamer. I recommend checking him out on YouTube. Great guy, and one of my patrons, as well as Tom. Great guys. Great supporters. And Lorenzo, you've been with me a long time. Okay, so we've got about, what was it, 110, was it? Something like that, something like that. Okay, so we can move around about that much. I mean, it'd be easy just to move that engineering unit with 115, but can't have it that easy. Okay, let's see. AV is what we're looking for. We do have the tax police. Let's see if we can spare some forces from elsewhere, because we don't have one unit that's large, per se. Right, we are over here. The SNLF is actually quite powerful here. Okay, let's have them strategically moved to Shanghai. I'd like to have them move elsewhere. Actually, they can't move. Can they? Right, there's no rail connection, of course. Okay, so we'll have them just move normally then to Shushao. Actually, that'd work. We'll have them move over, that should be fine. Yeah, Blinton is Battle Group Gamer. I love these futuristic games. Today I'll be finally starting my Ottoman Empire game in Supreme Ruler, the Great War. That sounds like a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed that, Tom. Okay, so the China War is going about as well as we can hope for the time being. Okay. New sub-chaser over here. Let's put that to work. We do have a couple of destroyers over here as well, which is pretty decent. I should probably use them. But I'd like to have them available for other missions should I need them. Okay, task force routing. To be fair, I could do with having it moved around here. This is where we experience a lot of attacks. Just in your civilian disguise. Nice. Okay. Right, the Marshall Islands are well enough as we can imagine. Hawaii, we do have a lot of forces off the coast. We've had a lot of movement. I mean, the fact that we nailed the Arizona around this area was really quite surprising. Surprising is definitely words to be using here. Okay. So let's take a look at the amount of zero production and the Hakajima the Hakajima 35 engine production. So air production, the airframes, the A6M2. Yeah, we've been consistently increasing the amount of frames being produced, which is really very nice. We're also starting to finish off this expansion. Only a couple more turns and then it'll be ready to go. But having more frames available is really nice. I mean, we've got a decent pool being built up here. Right. Okay, moving on to the engines. All Chinese are Japanese volunteer labour. Nice. Okay, the HA-35. Yeah. There's not been the greatest increase there, so we might want to take a look at that, see if we can actually increase the engine production. I mean, engine production is really the limiting factor. Right, 34, 35, and then Nakajima. So this is Tokyo. Let's see if we can increase that. I mean, I could do a big expansion, but that is a lot of supply. There's a lot of heavy industry. So what we'll do then is we'll increase that slowly but surely. 100 is easier to spare than 1,000. So we'll start to build that up slowly but surely, and we'll be good to go then. Okay. So a lot of things are going on right now. Lots of moving parts. Let's allow things to go ahead. Ideally, we can try and figure out where the Lexington is shortly. So, let's see what awaits us in the future. You know, this music really makes me want to play Hearthstone 3. Hey there, JV, how you doing, my dude? The only French guy I know. So how is everybody doing today, then? How are we all? What have we all been up to? Everybody having a good day? Odd evening? I don't make any distinctions there. Right, we'll speed this up. So I had a question, well, I suppose a comment on one of the last streams. The question was, how could we significantly increase our anti-submarine warfare capabilities? And the answer to that would be tasking a lot of the air squadrons from Formosa and other parts of the Japanese Empire's conquest to the anti-submarine warfare effort around Japan. Though, in fairness, we need to continue with the training of pilots. I'm prioritizing the pilots' training over their ASW values. I suppose contribution to that mission right now. Mostly because I'm going to prioritize their training to be more effective in the future. Ooh. Okay, we've got to bear in mind a lot of these patrol boats are just glorified transports. Jesus, Snake. That's a bit of TMI. Good day in Bordeaux. That sounds amazing. I imagine the weather's quite good down there. Right, here we go. Lovely. Nice torpedo. Beautiful. Will she go down? And she goes down. Great way to start the turn. We've had a lot of luck, actually. Let's see if it holds out. There's actually some escorts just off the coast of Japan, but I do need to check if they're going to go and rearm. So I'll do that in the next phase, actually. Still hoping for information regarding the Lexington. We lost sight of her off the Marshall Islands. Right, here we go with our bombardment at Wake. I mean, these heavy cruisers are packing some firepower. There's a significant increase in firepower here. And a light cruiser isn't too much more powerful than a destroyer, but a heavy cruiser is definitely more powerful than both. Okay. I mean, those are some big guns. Let's see what they can do for us at Wake. Actually nothing, as far as we know. Picked them all up and then it backfires on me. I mean, Haruna. Now, this is a ship that can really lay down a bombardment. I'm really going to try and make the most use of my battleships. I mean, the fact is I'm going to have a couple battleships in the invasions of the Celebes Island, which is going to make a big difference, I'd imagine. Megami's still alive in this playthrough to those veterans of the channel, which is really quite good. I can't believe I lost her. Okay, let's see the results here. Okay, so 10 casualties. Not a huge amount of casualties, but the fact is they've taken hits. The airbase has been hit, the supply's been hit, runway's been hit. It's a good way to begin. I suppose it does weaken them just a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, a few coastal guns there. Amphibious forces are moving closer to their targets. Right. Nice little formation over there. That was a pretty quick one. The captain of I-3 likes not to launch torpedoes as targets. That's fair enough then. Was it me? I was not a single gun over 200mm fired in that bombardment. Potentially not. I mean, I suppose it wouldn't make... I don't know. I mean, this is it. As far as I'm concerned with battleships, it's one of those where it's good to have the big guns, but at the end of the day, if you're not actually going to put them to use, what use are they? Be cheerful with battleships around Indonesia. The British may move their ships closer. Potentially so. Right. There are ships in the Coral Sea. Not the ship we're looking for at the moment, but there are ships that are easy prey. I mean, our forces moving into the Coral Sea has already resulted in the losses of quite a number of cargo ships for the Allied effort over there. So this was a good one. Okay, so we are trying to use the air power around Kaifeng to really drive home the inadequacy of the Chinese. Yeah, I mean, they're only taking light casualties, but the fact is they're taking casualties when they can't really spare that. It's like they can't replace those losses, as they'd have to be in their own supply lines. I mean, they're currently behind their own supply lines. Right, we did lose a plane to the flak defences at Hong Kong. I mean, once we capture Singapore, that's going to really change the game. I'm looking forward to the capture of Hong Kong as well. That's going to free up an entire division. Well, potentially so. I mean, we are going to have to garrison that, of course. Right, now, see, the fact is that they're going to consistently try to go for the heavy ships over here, the large ships over here. Ideally, we don't take any hits, but the fact is it's drawing their planes, which we can use our AA to hopefully destroy. Okay, ideally they don't get targeted. Yeah, there we go. 2 damage by flak. That's going to add up over time to a couple losses. Right, the fact that they're launching these B-17 raids at me is really quite damaging. I mean, B-17s are something I can't... yeah, see, I've lost a couple of planes on the ground there, which is actually quite a big hit. Yeah, the B-17s are something I find extremely hard to deal with. Raikido Butai has actually found a victim. Yeah, they've got absolutely no chance in hell. Oh, okay. Wow, we actually found quite a few here, and all of them destroyed. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is pretty lovely. So, I mean, that's really nice. I wish we could just use bombs only. But that's still pretty nice. I mean, that's a couple of transport ships just taken out there quite easily. I mean, at the end of the day, this is all good experience for my pilots. Hong Kong will also give you a dry dock closer to Southeast Asia than Shanghai, definitely. I mean, having a dry dock is really important. I mean, having a high-level port is really important too. Hello there, Kosar. How you doing, my dude? Alright, we do have some allied ships off there. They shouldn't be an issue. I'd imagine they're more than likely cargo ships. Most of the allied naval efforts aren't really where they need to be. They're mostly around the Dutch East Indies, Australia, and obviously Pearl Harbor. I'm glad. They keep hitting me over there with planes. How many torpedoes does your carrier fleet have? Be sure to leave enough for an attack on Sydney. Yeah, definitely. I might, I mean, to be fair, I wasn't anticipating a engagement over there. But we'll check out the amount of torpedoes. I hate the range of those things. Luckily, we didn't receive any damage, but the fact is we can't have them close. I mean, at the end of the day, we need to establish control of the Dutch East Indies, and just in general, this area of the world. We just need to stop the Allies from being able to use strategic bombardment. Cannot allow them to take airfields close to Japan, as they will definitely hammer us. Right, there we go. We actually are using our air transports to move supply to those forces marching on Pakoi. I do think it's a little bit of supply. At the end of the day, it's not going to be anywhere near enough, but if it's a little bit extra, it is going to be that little extra that they're going to have with them. Right, there we go. Land forces moving. There we go, another division in the area. Lovely jubbly. Yep, we are marching on the base of the north. Yeah, here we go. So, I mean, the 32nd Division, yeah, they're going to wipe them out. There's absolutely no hope for those Chinese corps there. So, in all honesty, I could go complete overkill on that attack, which I intend to. Now, that one is a little bit more interesting. As you can see here, the 85th Chinese Corps is actually significantly more powerful than the average forces there. Okay, so you can see here that there's not much left. The 66th isn't going to participate in this battle, of course. We just need to destroy them. That's all that needs to be done. It's just they need to admit that they have in fact lost the battle here. And there go the 38th attacks. I don't anticipate breaking them. It'd be lovely to destroy these units, but we'll see. I mean, they have absolutely no combat effectiveness. Yeah, it's the fact of the adjusted defense. It's like we just need to rest our forces. I mean, they didn't take that many losses here due to the fact that not many units were really fighting. It's like, obviously, the 38th was on a deliberate attack. We might just be better off resting them. But you can see here, squads 10 destroyed. I mean, 10 squads being destroyed. They're getting to this point where they're just not able to function. I mean, once they're disabled, then they can be destroyed. Engineers destroyed. Guns lost 2. Oh, well, sorry, 4 in total, 2 destroyed, 2 disabled. I mean, they're inevitably going to be defeated over time. It is going to happen. Yeah, we just need to really rest our forces, I believe. Okay, so you can see here, we actually do have a decent amount of combat value. It might be that we might be able to overpower the Wake defenders. Yeah, I might end up with the historical Christmas surrender. I think it's the fact that my men are just probably absolutely shattered right now. I would have thought with this amount of firepower that I would have been able to burn through them. But I suppose the fatigue has really caught up with us. Might be just worth going on bombardment. Yeah, we're looking good here. The 2nd Reconnaissance Regiment's really going to come into its own here. And the fact that they're going to be able to move quickly is a godsend. Yeah. Right, we'll annihilate those Chinese forces then in the following turn. Yeah, there we go. They should be able to deal with the 20th Chinese Corps quite easily. This battle over here, we're just gonna really keep those Chinese forces busy. Oh yeah, that one's completely screwed. Superb. You haven't missed too much, my dude. The game's only just, well, I suppose the stream's only just started not too long ago. We'll go for a shock attack in this area. I mean, a shock attack could potentially work here as well. I mean, we do have more firepower in general. Yeah, and actually, yeah, they've been forced retreat already. Superb. Wow. Those are some heavy casualties there. That's brilliant. 72 squads destroyed, 106 non-combat. So that's a big issue there. And that is how it's done. Awesome. So we'll inspect the amount of torpedoes that Kidabutai has available for the planes. And ideally we still have some. Though I'd imagine with enough bombs we could destroy ships anyway. I mean, we could just knock the Lexington out for years if we could. Still no sighting of any other Allied carrier vessel at this moment in time. Thankfully though, I mean, I'd rather not see another. I'd rather destroy Lexington and then we find out about another. And not the other way round, because that would complicate things. Okay, good turn, good turn. Let's take a look. 2 AMCs over here. These are the ones that came a very long way, actually. We need to find a way to make use of them. Actually, could they be converted to anything? Nah, I don't want to convert them. Then again, I suppose that could convert into a troop ship, actually. That might be potentially worthwhile. That's actually something to consider. Right. She set a waypoint away from the submarine. There we go. Ideally, they might survive. So we're unloading resources over here. Lovely jubbly. Depth charges are fully loaded. Let's get them back out to sea. The Australians might have a few destroyers and light cruisers in Sydney. Very true. What's up there, Rez? How are you doing? Okay. Let's take a look. We are spotting a task force in Sydney. Okay, let's take a look at Kitabutai. Right, it might be worthwhile as refueling here. I think that's going to be enough fuel for them to get out. So what we're going to do then is we're going to have the oilers disengage from Kitabutai, and they're going to set for truck. But it might be worthwhile going to these islands over here, potentially, as we are going to be closer to Allied support. Yeah. Oh, it's actually a great piece of, like, music. Okay. So we're going to go for a safer route. Yep, there we go. Right, the Oilers are going to be on their way out. What's up there, AT? How you doing, my dude? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, cargo's out to torpedoes. Hero does have torpedoes, which is great. Soyu is running out. Shikaku has a good amount. Zuikaku has a good amount. Kagi's out. Okay, so we started to run out of torpedoes, but at the end of the day, we still have torpedoes, so that's really good news. Let's take a look. Set them to bombs as at the end of the day, they don't have anything else. If they're set to using bombs, I do need to change that altitude. Yeah, the Vals... I suppose the Vals fly at 13 too, so that's alright then. So it seems I missed an attack on Sydney. No, we're actually not in range of Sydney as of yet. We did destroy about 5 transports around here. We're just checking that Kiributai has torpedoes. Which she does with some of the carriers, but not all of the carriers. Still good here. Still a few torpedoes. In fairness, actually, I suppose what we'll do then is we'll set everybody to use, all of the torpedo bombers to use bombs for the time being. Until we actually have a confirmed sighting of Lexington. Right, let's check that's changed properly. Using bombs. Okay. That's good news. So yeah, that's great news. That's great news. The Oilers are going to set out towards safer waters as we venture closer to Australia. Okay, I want you to head for Sydney as quickly as possible. Well, just off the coast of Sydney. Okay. London's over here, they're going well. We'll go for a bombardment, but we'll stay here one more turn and then I'm going to go bombard the forces over here to Brunei. These forces, I imagine, are still marching. Yeah, still in combat. They'll eventually reach their destination, though, so that's fine. Irritating though, so I keep switching them over, but if they want to play difficult, they can be difficult. Okay, the Imperial Guard Division is on its way too. Okay, they've not set off as of yet. It might be worth us doing an amphibious invasion over here, actually. At least an amphibious landing. I mean, in fairness, it would be quite decent. It would take out a port. But we'll see how we get on. I just don't want to move troops through and then we get attacked by something quite nasty. So that's definitely a possibility. Okay. We did move some squadrons out here. Now, irritatingly, they can't go into anti-submarine warfare missions, which is a shame. Right, pilot. Okay. Sydney probably has a lot of guns in their fortresses. Why does it go so close? Yeah, be careful the US carriers don't do a preemptive attack. That's very true. I suppose what we'll do then is we'll be a little bit more cautious, actually. We'll stay off the coast a little bit further. And I'm fairly confident due to the fact that we have such overwhelming power there in the form of Kiributai. I mean, that is like the largest collection of carriers in the Pacific and probably in the Atlantic. Potentially in the Atlantic. Okay. Closing in over here, which is lovely. Lots of submarine activity around here. Lots of it. Let's see. Can I move anything strategically? I can't. Yeah, that's a shame. Let's see, we'll try and move then, I suppose. It will take them some time to get there. Yeah, actually, it's not even worth moving them then. It'll take too long to get there. I suppose the thing is, we're just going to have to just keep up with these attacks. Let's see. I mean, I could go for a shock attack. It's like, we are taking casualties, but at the end of the day, it's like our disruption and fatigue is very high. I'd rather just take the city. I don't want to end up being slower in taking it than what we should have been historically anyway, so that would be a rather embarrassing thing. Okay, we need to move these forces up. Continue the advance on Changsha. Set all to follow. Right, they're going to march to... Awesome. Right, let's destroy these forces at Kaifeng. Right, they're going to unpack, but they should be fine. Shock attack to annihilate them. Then there's plenty of infantry here that can move around. Make sure everybody's in combat mode. Are you complaining about lack of supplies? Let's increase that. Right. So we do have the 15th and the 5th Armoured Car. What do we actually have at the base then? 25,000 troops, so a decent amount of forces there. But not too many. I think only the Allies combined have more carriers than Japan. US and Britain alone don't have the numbers yet. Very, very true. Okay. So we're going to keep them busy over here. Let's go for bombardment. End of the day. Keep up the attack. Right. We need to go for the shock attack over here too. Combat. Combat and shock. Annihilate them. So we are closing in on Changsha. I mean, there isn't that many troops there. Once Changsha falls, that's actually a really strategic city. Because from there, we can then start moving on here. And then once we have that, we can move strategically. And then I'd love to take Kukong. So once we have Kukong, we could actually link up a lot of this. I mean, we do have the road network over here. So we are going to have to start making our way towards these bases. As long as you don't lose any combat ships on the attack, it's fine to attack. Planes and pilots can be replaced in time. Very true. I mean, it's a bit of a setback, but at the end of the day, we are increasing A6M2 frame production and the Hakajima. Is it the Hakajima or the Nakajima? Hakajima 35. Yeah, it's a Hakajima. We are increasing production of that engine, and obviously the zero airframe. So we will be able to make up those losses. Right, we are closing in over here. Slowly but surely. It's going to be dangerous moving through here, but we do have a lot of forces. The Allies have a total of 23 carriers if I counted right. Yeah, very true. I suppose a lot of them would be converted carriers. I mean, there is obviously a few dedicated carriers at this point. Not too particularly many. Right, start to load these resources. Cruiser mine layer. Okay, lay mines. The Naka. Need to find a use for you. Could you be converted to anything? No. Not really too much use for you. I mean, once we have better upgraded, that'd be decent enough. I go closing on the port there. I return to port to replenish. Guam invasion force. Okay, anything off of Pearl Harbor? Plenty of ships moving there. Tankers would be quite nice to hit. How about off the coast of America? Nothing right now. No submarine sightings. It's not going to be long now before we close in on Sydney, so that's going to be make or break time. So, forces moving. We're going to engage here soon enough. Okay, they're all moving. 15. Right, this one's going to take a significantly longer than I was hoping. How about over here? How far? Oh, wait. Right, okay, so the move, the march has only just begun. But they'll get there. They'll get there. We do have invasion forces over here ready to go, which we are going to hold in reserve, I suppose, for the time being. It's like I could send in additional waves into the Philippines, but we're going to see how the dominoes fall and see where these troops could be moved if desired. And then again, you know what? I could actually move these forces to Hong Kong, though we would run the big and very real risk of mines. Then again, there's not that many troops there. I don't think they'd make that much a difference. Okay. So I could spare some troops from here, actually. Yeah, I can take the forces here so I can have them move strategically to this base over here at Sushao, perhaps? Maybe. Would be nice to secure that. I mean, ideally we can move troops all the way down here. I think what we'll do then is we'll have these forces move to Hangzhou. There we go. Let's see. Operations. Ah, yes, the bombardment. Amphibious would be too many losses at Hong Kong. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a consideration, but it's just not worth it. Right. Keep up this bombardment. Let's see if we can find any further forces for Wake. Right, these are all patrol boats. God damn. That's actually a significant amount. I need to think where I could use these, because there's not really much in the way of enemy submarine activity in this area. So that's something to bear in mind. Yeah, that's definitely something to bear in mind. Where are my amphibious? I mean, there's only these here. Okay. Yeah, there's not much in the way of troops. Yeah. I mean, they'd have to come from truck. We do have these submarines out here. Let's make some use of them, shall we? I mean, where should we start to patrol? That's the thing. Definitely a thing to take in consideration. Yeah, there aren't too many submarines there. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. I suppose, we'll have them sent to Pearl Harbor. At the end of the day, that means I could have another 4 ships, 4 submarines, sent to port, or to the... Well, these ones obviously have the short range, so I can send them to the Australian waters. I think around the Torres Strait would be a good idea. Or just in this general area, anyway. Yeah, the I-8. Yeah, we'll have them sent around Pearl Harbor, because then we can actually peel off some submarines in that area, have them rearmed, refueled, all that good shit. Yeah. At least with the actual auxiliaries nearby, we could have our submarines repaired and refueled closer to Pearl Harbor, and then we could potentially even move on to the American coast. Right. You're low on fuel. They should be able to make it, though, so what we'll do then, we'll have them sent to Truck instead. Have them refuel at Truck, and then they can move on to Wake. Even further augment our bombardment capabilities. Right, so we've issued our orders. There's not a huge amount to go for right now. Seems they've unloaded all their troops, so we can set these troops to actual combat. There we go. I mean, that's decent enough. There's only a few tank heads, but motorized, I suppose any tanks are going to make a difference. Not a huge difference because there's not that many of them, but a difference nonetheless. Right, so these planes at Bataan Island, I need to make use of them. They don't have ground attack or ASW, which is irritating. So let's see, how far could we move them? Moving them so far out, is that going to make much of a difference? Probably not. We could go on city attack, potentially. Yeah, sending submarines near San Francisco might be a good idea. The US has probably a lot of destroyers in the area. Potentially not, really. Potentially not. I think what we'll do then is we'll hold them in reserve, have them continue to train. Could use them for airfield attacks once we close in on Clark's airfield. I need to destroy fighter cover though, that's the thing. There's a lot of fighters around here. I should have an idea. So I'm going to transfer them to China. We'll have them at Canton. We're going to use them to bombard Chinese industry. That may slow them down somewhat. And obviously airfields would be nice to damage as well. Okay, let's go for city attack. Changsha. Heavy industry. City attack. There we go, we're going to hit that. See how we get on with that. What's the max airfield size at Bataan? I mean, yeah, it is pretty good air coverage. The max is actually remarkably low. Embarrassingly low. I'd love to move planes to Iwo Jima, but that doesn't have much in the way of air capacity. Shishijima, a little bit better. Hahajima, yeah. I mean, Marcus Island would make a really nice base if it had a larger capacity. I mean, Saipan's probably our best bet for anything really out here. Guam will check on... Yeah, Guam could be very good. I mean, Wei could be an excellent base there. Ideally, we could capture that. Okay, so, not a huge amount going on. Resources are moving, so that's always a good thing to see. Let's just check that. Why are they just consistently unloading? I must be clicking just something wrong here. Ah, well. Resources will arrive here soon. I mean, we do have the cruiser, well, carrier escort over here. Well, escort carrier, which I could really potentially put some planes on there and use that solely for the anti-submarine warfare missions. It's potential, we'll see. Right. So invasions are closing in, that's good, that's good. So let's see, how long is that going to take them? So let's see. So 3, 6, 9, yeah, about 5 turns, more or less. Potentially 5 turns, maybe less. But that's not too bad. Okay, we'll end the order phase here. We'll see what we can do. I guess a few more shorter range planes instead of those longer range craft would still cover the Luzon Strait pretty well. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I'd actually have a use for the shorter ranged bombers. Because they could really come into their own there. Well, at least they'd actually serve a legitimate purpose. That was a good thing to bear in mind. Have a little bit more wine. You might be wondering why I'm slurring my words a little bit. It's I'm terrible with alcohol. It's like I wouldn't consider myself a lightweight. I'm just one of those people that just get very, very tired. Unless I have a sufficient amount of venom like wired, it's strange. It's like a second wind. Ah dear. It's good to be streaming again, though. Still trying to organise the War Without Garlands project. That's going fairly well. Just need to get everybody practiced before I can announce that officially. Okay, let's see what we can find here. I mean, the good news is that we do have a good amount of destroyers and sub-patrols and just sub-chasers around Japan. Thankfully, no ship was hit there. Here we go, bombardment of Wake. Come on, guys, make me proud. Do some actual damage. That'd be nice. Well, we'll just consider this as... They're probably doing damage, it's just damage that we can't see. Right, what's Haruna gonna do? Yeah, a few more casualties here. And the fact is they're actually causing casualties, which is a big thing, especially as the attack is coming up. That disruption and fatigue caused by bombardment will make a difference in the end. It's going to mean less Japanese Imperial forces dying, which is always a good thing. It means it's going to do better in general. Bloody coastal guns. At the end of the day, we do have heavy ships in the area to actually engage the enemy forces and just to speed up these invasions. And really just to safeguard them. A few patrol boats aren't going to do shit if anything nasty showed up. Be a complete massacre. Oh, hello there. Oh, you miss. Ah, it's a shame. The Katarina. That's a very large ship and I'd like to see that destroyed. I just need to destroy the allied capacity. I mean, obviously they're going to replace these losses over time. I mean, I can imagine quite quickly too, but at the end of the day, the more losses they take, it's going to hurt them in the short term. And then potentially long term, should we sink enough. Tankers are our real prize. And if we find tankers or oilers, they're really worth a lot. Right, 3 ships near Wake Island. That's interesting. I mean, Wake is actually fairly well defended with quite a few cruisers there and destroyers, so I don't think we'd really have to worry about too much. I mean, obviously, if it was a carrier, that'd make a big-ass difference. But if it was indeed a carrier, we're probably better off just trying to sail out there directly. Can you have subs patrol the Suez Canal, considering its strategic value might help you try to sink ships? I mean, the Suez Canal, ooh, yeah, I don't think we could reach the Suez, potentially. But we could patrol around that area should we, like, capture ports in India or Ceylon. But obviously that's quite far ahead. I mean, the Panama Canal. Okay, yeah, the Panama Canal is probably a little bit more manageable. There we go, good casualties inflicted there. Considering a shock attack's going to hit them, that's going to be great news. Should be able to defeat a lot of the Chinese forces there. Ideally just capture them or just outright wipe them out. I'm going to be quite interested to see how the strategic bombardment of Changsha is going to go. I mean, hitting that Chinese heavy industry is going to be a good thing. Once we capture Changsha, I mean, I suppose I could actually launch attacks from Kaifeng on the Chinese industrial heartlands, which is probably going to be a good thing to do. I should probably do that, actually. Okay. They're actually launching from very close by. A few planes in response here. I mean, there's actually a decent amount of Warhawks, which is something I've not seen for a while. And I imagine they've probably rotated in from somewhere else, actually. Yeah, we actually came off much worse there. I suppose we did take out a Warhawk, so at least that's something. Speed this up. Right, weather isn't looking too good. You can move to this Suez Canal once the Germans cross the Urals. And again, they're trying. Yeah, now this is where we're going to take attacks. But we'll be able to... I mean, a lot of that mission is obviously to take that base, but also so we can see what we're actually dealing with in this area. I mean, attacks from the Malaccas is obviously not the greatest thing, but at least we can actually see what we're dealing with in that area, which is going to be very helpful as I can sort of gauge what we can manage. The bloody range on those things. Really hitting us hard. I might be better off just sending more forces to the Philippines, really, just to speed up the invasion there. I mean, once we conquer the Philippines, that's really quite handy. There's a lot of resources there. Yeah, I think I might be better off doing that. We'll see how the cards fall, but I'm very much leaning towards just reinforcing the Philippines. Raiders detected by radar, that's interesting. No, they don't like the Nagara, do they? Seems they definitely have something against it. I was watching a lecture on the midst of World War II, an interesting point was made. Pearl Harbor was only attacked due to assurance that Germany would declare war on the US. Those Hudsons seem to be very ineffective. I don't know. I don't know about... I mean, at the end of the day, Germany declaring war on the United States made absolutely no difference. Japan was nominally a part of the Axis, but in reality completely separate. They couldn't exactly help each other much. So I wouldn't say Pearl Harbor was relying solely on the Germans declaring war. I suppose it's a bit of solidarity. I mean, it was inevitable that the Americans would get involved against the Germans. I mean, the Japanese were trying to make peace during the entire time in the lead-up, so it's a very interesting thing. Okay, there we go. Guns are lost. Obviously, to try and maintain their conquest. The initial Japanese plan was to try the Philippines in 1946 after the US had removed the bases there. Yeah, I do have a book actually I need to get around to reading, which is War Plan Orange. That'd be very good. And the Japanese did sort of anticipate a sort of traditional response by the US. where they tried to have a decisive engagement, which they couldn't really ever get. And when they did get it, it obviously wasn't to their, well, to their liking. Okay, we should be able to destroy these forces here. Winning a few more battles over China. Just need to destroy these forces, keep chasing them, keep destroying them, routing them, and just removing them from the play. Yeah, there we go. They're going to take a lot of casualties there, I'd imagine. Yeah, 5-1. So we lost 171 men, they lost 1,300. They lost a few guns, that's very good. So they've retreated out here, we just need to follow them through with the division and actually crush them. If Germany actually conquered Russia, it would have been a different story, all about oil and coal and iron and industry and farm and share. I just think it had taken decades for the Germans to even have any sort of result from it. I mean, probably the best they could have got would obviously be just capturing the sheer amount of materials available there, potentially. But I don't really think they would have gained much from it. But I suppose just annihilating a potential enemy, well, obviously a definite enemy, might have done them quite well. I mean, they could have potentially moved their industry further to the east. I mean, obviously a lot of German industry was in Poland. So, I mean, if they'd been able to move it further east, they might have been able to protect more of it, but, I do believe that Operation Barbarossa was actually the right move. I mean, you take a look at the German economic situation, it's like they didn't really have much of a choice. Right, here we go. Shock attack. There we go, looking pretty good here. Banzai! There we go, that's nice. I need to hear Banzai over Hong Kong, but we'll see. Right, actually very low, whoa. Very, very low casualties. That was actually a phenomenal victory. That was very, very well done. Right, okay. That's really nice. I'm actually quite happy about that. Oh, there's actually ships off the coast here. That's interesting. Yeah, that division's touch quite strong. I don't think we'd be able to really manage that. If we had armor, potentially. I don't want to risk an attack at Wake Island. I really would prefer to have reinforcements there. Actually, I think the resources wasted on the Eastern Front could have been better used and built on much superior air force that would be needed to. See, I don't think the Germans could have ever regained air superiority unless, obviously, they had a absolutely incredible technological breakthrough. The sheer industrial... Fuck me, what's so fucking hell? Well, that armor's screwed, isn't it? Fucking hell. Oh, shit. Frickin' hope they survive. Good God. Good God, that screwed me. Jesus Christ, that hurt. Okay, yep, hats off, lads. That was a bad move. I was anticipating those forces arriving in that division there, but bloody hell, that has really, really hurt. That's gonna... The bloody Jedi are feeling that one. Good God, that hurt. That is a lot of Chinese power. Good Lord. Jesus Christ. Jesus. That's just really hurt me. Bloody hell. Okay, that sucks. Okay. 2,700 to 1. Those are some good odds. Yeah, rest in peace, Chinese campaign. Oh, we can handle it. I don't know if I should move a division there. There's a lot of men, actually. Except there's Sultan, by the way. So look, if the generals had not listened to Hitler and the logistic guys, the primary objective was to gain Caucasus oil, the number... See, you know what? Halder deliberately went against Hitler. And that did really cost him. It's like, he did want to focus on Moscow, and honestly, Moscow meant shit. It really didn't mean anything. It's like the same with Stalingrad. They shouldn't have been in Stalingrad. They shouldn't have even entered Stalingrad. But Stalingrad wasn't actually that... to begin with, that vital. I mean, it became sort of a grinder. But then again, the Germans were in control of the vast majority of the city. It's just it was pointless being there. They really should not have been there. They had absolutely no reason to go into the Caucasus like that. I mean, splitting Army Group South into multiple army groups when, in fact, it wasn't anywhere near the strength of one army group. Of the other army groups, it just did not make sense. Just not a very good idea. I mean, the Germans really operated with the idea an army group should be going in one direction, not 2 to 3 directions at once. Yeah, just not very good. Okay, I just can't believe you shit amount of losses. That's actually really, really hurt me there. That was a complete wipe. That was actually fuck me. That was a lot of Chinese forces. Good lord, I did not expect that many men. Like, yeah. That is a lot. Stalingrad was a major... See, the reason they went for Stalingrad is obviously to cut off the connection to the Caucasus. Well, yeah, it didn't really go too well. Yeah, true, Moscow was the center of a rail network for the Soviet Union, but at the end of the day, where were they going to move? If the Germans obviously had concentrated more in the south where the resource centers actually were... I mean, taking Moscow, what's that going to do? I mean, Napoleon burned Moscow to the ground. It did nothing. I mean, it's not going to stop them fighting. You can't just knock them out. You've got to play the long war. Okay, so, I don't think we should move. I mean, to be honest, it's like the only way I'd have a reasonable chance of just cracking that nut would be sending all these divisions there. Even then, that'd be a hell of a battle. Yeah, we're not marching into that hellhole. Good lord. Yeah, there's over 100,000 Chinese troops there. Stalingrad wasn't a mistake, sending only one to bleed army. See, I disagree. I don't think Stalingrad was a good idea. Obviously, at that point, obviously, yes, you are correct in saying that they should not have sent a bleated army there. But I mean, the fact is, it's like they weren't ready for that. Jesus, one of the effects of the German failure in Russia was the removal of Chechen population from the Caucasus, killing 1/3 of the Chechen population. Would arming the steppe peoples who despise the Soviet Union been a good step? See, it would have been rather interesting if the Germans had gone in with a sort of, we're here to liberate you from this oppressive regime, and instead you're going to be under another oppressive regime. At the end of the day, it's like, when it was a choice between total annihilation or total annihilation by the guys who had access to your family, I suppose you're going to choose to fight against the guys who don't have access to your family. I mean, if there'd been a coup against Stalin, that'd been rather interesting. Right, combat. I'm really quite worried about the sheer bloody amount of forces over here. That is actually rather worrying. That is a significant amount there. It's going to make things more complicated. At least we annihilated that force completely, so that is lovely. They're not the rail network, so we're going to have to move them to the rail network once more. Okay, need to continue. At least this division moving up here is going to be a good thing. The 116th can continue to move up, and then they can support the forces over here. Okay, so we need to follow up the victory at Kaifeng. Yeah, I suppose we might as well. Okay. Yeah, it is actually a hell of a lot, man. Okay. I don't know why they didn't just skip the major cities. I suppose the fact is, it's like if you leave a point of strength behind your lines, you are setting yourself up for a disappointment. Did anyone pick up the phone? Because I called it. So I made sure there could not be coups with purges. I mean, the purges... At the end of the day, you could purge everybody. It's not going to stop that knife in your back. Right, need to concentrate your air force and pounding that army. Yeah, definitely so. I mean, I'm probably going to lose a lot of planes to that. It's a hell of a lot of men. Oh yeah, the Vasilov army, that was rather interesting. I mean, he was actually found in a car, wasn't he? Was he found wearing a dress? I can't remember what he was found wearing. I know he was like wearing some other different clothes. Odd little tidbit there. I mean, he's a really interesting guy. It's up there, Krzysztof Czaszewski, bloody Polish names that I can't pronounce or check. I don't know. You got a difficult name, dude. You're making my life hard. Okay, we actually have a good amount of men here, which I'm really quite happy about. We don't have a garrison requirement either, which is superb. Okay. So these troops are targeted immediately. These at Singapore. Why are they targeted over there? That doesn't even make sense. I don't even need to take these bases here. Right. We do have some ships over here. We are moving through here, so this is good news. Right. Bloody hell. Let's transfer these ships in here. Naturally. Let's move a destroyer out of here. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, should be able to reach it. But Stalingrad would have been avoided with a more scorched possibility. There's also deep dark yellow at Nanning in the south. I bet there's over 100k there too. More than likely. Let's take a look at Nanning. Nanning. 32,000. There's probably there's a decent amount of men there. Let's be honest. Right. You know what irritates me is the fact that Hong Kong's probably going to fall the historic date. So let's just. Actually, they've lost. Okay, let's just try this. Let's just try being in reserve for a turn. But if you control the army and police, few will try anything. Also, Stan was very paranoid. Don't know if you know, but he always had three rooms where he slept, and no one knew which one he slept. At the end of the day, it's like somebody will find out. It's like if they know there's 3 rooms, they know there's a possibility. It's like nobody's ever completely safe. It's like the reason he survives coups is when people believe it's honestly not worth it. I suppose that'd be the best way to put it. I mean, it's like if you know you're probably going to die, and it's not worthwhile, you're not going to take the risk. You're not going to go for it. Okay. I mean, we lost 100 vehicles. Just a fucking lot of vehicles. But, dear. Yeah, it's a lot of Chinese. I mean, we've had some good victories. We just need to obviously build up our forces, and that'll definitely help us out in the long run. Building up the amount of bombers would be a good idea. Let's see. We can actually move some of these around. Oh, these are actually fighters. Right, level bombers. Okay. With these 2 Kaifeng. Okay, good idea. Right, we're going to try to hit the gigantic army over here. We'll see how that turns out. That's a lot of troops there. Just organise whatever we have, really. Yeah. If the Chinese are in too large army, then that means they're likely weak elsewhere. You might be able to capture some Chinese cities where their forces are not present. Very true, very true. I mean, there's lots of Chinese forces out here. It's like they do have a fuckload of troops. At the end of the day, it's inevitable. So there's 50-odd thousand troops here. If we annihilate these Chinese forces in our rear area, that is the big thing. So, I mean, once this area is secure, then we can actually start to push these Chinese forces out. And once we've got this area fully secure, that is going to make a big difference. But look at all these forces around here. There's a lot of Chinese. If I call Japanese doctrine refer to emphasize fighting spirit in the assault as a way to make up for lack of heavy industry in Japan itself. Yeah, very true. I'm very interested to see what this is. I suppose we'll go for a surface combat. Right, moving west. No, We'll stay in position here. At the end of the day, if something does come into contact, it'll... Well, we'll engage anyway. Okay. Right, we are closing on Australia. Let's take a look at Kitabutai. Right, we're not seeing anything right now. Have had auxiliaries... They're on the way. Good thing they didn't actually come into contact bar. We are closing on Sydney. No sightings off the coast. I'll see you later then, AT. Have a good one. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Right. Closing on that base. If we can capture that base, I'd be very happy. Not long now to their position. Still unloading. They'll be done soon enough so we can have them sent off. Yep. Loading complete. Move them over here. That's good news. There we go, we'll load up some resources. Lovely. Have you ever come across the book The Future of War? It's an old book published in 1902, but it's still interesting. No, I've not heard of it actually. Sounds interesting. Loading complete over here. Start moving those supplies. Well, obviously resources. Loading completed here too. Right, good. Good. A lot of resources they're going to be moving to Japan now. Okay. Almost at this base. Well, I suppose we actually are at the space now. So if I can set them to that, deliberate, have them set to that base, I should be able to then capture that base, which is actually going to make a big difference. Okay. How many Japanese soldiers do you have in China, approximately? You know what, I couldn't actually tell you, because it's like this game doesn't particularly make it easy to figure that stuff out. I'd wager a good couple 100,000, potentially. I mean, I do have obviously a lot in Manchuria. I couldn't actually tell you how many troops I have in China. Thousands, anyway, thousands. I do have these forces here I need to move out somewhere useful. I might actually be better off just, like, loading them back on. Alright, let's cancel that. Let's load these troops. Okay, verify that load. That's not bad, a regiment. We can move that regiment elsewhere then. Okay. Closing in on Sydney. Half tempted to go full speed. But that'd probably be a waste. Well, it would definitely be a waste. Okay. Let's see. Pound these guys over here. Lovely jubbly. Right, there's not a huge amount going on now. Still waiting for ideally bloody Hong Kong to fall. Right, I don't think it is. Yeah. We're just going to try and rest our troops, actually, see if that makes a damn difference. It looks like it's going to fall on the historical day, which is actually rather irritating. Feels like wasting my time a little bit, but oh well. It was written by a Polish railway owner who summarised that modernisation, artillery and infantry firepower would lead to hellish trench warfare. Interesting. Okay. See, I like to see the fact that my task forces are reacting here. Ah, okay. Well, they're in for a rude awakening. I'm rather surprised that they actually came in here. Why would they both attempt to withdraw? I suppose it's because my mission's obviously bombardment. But, like, come on, let's just,
Hello, you
oh, good God.
Orphans of the Pacific. This is your favorite enemy, Orphan Anne, at Radio Tokyo. With music to lift your spirits and words to depress your morale. But first, Imperial General Headquarters announced today that the Imperial Navy has achieved another great victory near Wayne, with the sinking of 2 carriers, a battleship, and numerous cruisers and destroyers.
That's a little bit random and completely inaccurate. That's incredible. I'm loving that one. I don't know why we withdrew it away, guys, but I should have just left them on, like, service combat. Ah, well, we'll learn an issue there. Glad they didn't go for the actual battleships. I don't know if they didn't... I don't know. I reckon the battleships could shoot them out. Is it possible for you to attack the Soviets at the moment? Well, we could go with the Soviets attacking us, but we'd lose. Well, we'd if we move too many forces out of Manchuria, that will happen. So we don't want that to happen. What's the radio transmission? It's basically Tokyo. Oh, I can imagine they are surprised. Oh, I imagine they're surprised. That's going to be good. Yeah, it basically plays on like certain points being taken. It's rather funny. Sometimes it doesn't work correctly. It's quite nice when it does happen and it like happens properly. Oh, Congo's going to love this. This is lovely. This is lovely. Torpedoes. Fish in the water. Yeah. I mean, that is actually a good prize. I mean, those are troop transports that are going to be sorely missed. Very happy about that. Still can't believe I lost 100 vehicles though. That really hurt. They should just run those transports pretty much. I wish you could set which kind of guns they'd use for a certain engagement. Right, we're very close to Sydney now. We should be able to launch a strike very soon. No idea what it's going to be in Sydney. I really do hope Lexington's there. So far, we've no idea, but we'll launch an attack in the next turn if we have the range. Ideally, that should lead to some good results. I somewhat underestimated the speed at which we could move, actually, which is... I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. I mean, we've arrived, and that's really good. Right, I mean, we do have lots of bombings going on over here. Oh, right, actually, we're not taking damage. That's good news, then. Yeah, we should be able to just completely annihilate... Oh, yeah, well, there we go. That's what I was expecting. But still, 100,000 troops. We've taken out just over 100. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. Worthwhile, though. Worthwhile. So I'm disappointed that we couldn't take Hong Kong earlier. I just think it's the disruption and fatigue that's really just stopped them from doing that. Should have probably not rode them as hard, given them time to rest. Oh well. It's going to inevitably fall. Right, I'm not liking the fact that only a few escorts have responded to that attack. Well, that's not a good idea going for light destroyers, is it? I hate when it plays a bomb explosion sound. If they're not, then Brisbane is a good target, potentially. Wouldn't it historically have made more sense for the Japanese to attack the Soviets rather than the US? Yeah, the Soviets really handed their asses to the Japanese. And Japan is a naval power. It's not really much of a land power. I suppose it is and it isn't. Their navy was obviously much better than their army. Besides, it's easy to fight a naval war than it is to fight an actual land war. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty decent, though. The Allies are actually having their planes just completely handed to them. Now, the amount of aircraft building up over here is quite worrying. I do need to move a few more fighters down that way. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, we actually did come off very, very well there. Oh, what do we have here, then? Let's see. Few other rounds here. I mean, this is decent. I mean, the fact is, Kidobutai's actual forces are going to annihilate these ships, which is really nice. Yeah, no question about it. Good experience with the pilots. We're using bombs, so it's not using our precious torpedoes. We actually did have a few... Wow, that's actually quite a few there. Good God. That's good. That's very good. Yep, and again. I mean, none of them have been sunk, but I don't imagine they'll make it very far. What do we have here? Oh, an allied tanker, apparently. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Sadly, no tanker, but yeah, all but one destroyed. Very good news. What are the Kates doing? Interesting. Plenty of allied transports being destroyed this turn. What is that? Oh dear. And there it goes. Plenty of damage inflicted there. Good. What do we have here? Another transport? Yeah, but it'll also about to do this turn. Lovely. I mean, that was a large amount of capacity just destroyed right there. Huge amount. And the fact that they've actually lost passenger ships as well, true transport ships, is actually a remarkably big deal. Looks like Brunei is actually ungarrisoned, which is interesting. So if Brunei falls, that'd be great news. Another oil center captured then. Alright, here we go. Few ground losses here. Don't be too large. If it's too large, we'll just send reinforcements. Okay, that's not too bad. End of the day, we do have a bombardment there that will cripple them, so that's good news. Sounds like the Japanese have focused too much on the naval aspect of military. No, I disagree. I mean, the Navy wasn't even sufficient for the war. I mean, it's like... it was and it wasn't. It's like they lapsed in a few areas, obviously, like submarine warfare. I just said a few more carriers would have been a lot better. Then I could build up with the military. Right, well, I suppose the army. Okay. Yeah, go to spiritual powers. Definitely. I mean, they're losing vehicles and guns, actually, so that's not bad. Ideal, we can capture that base. I mean, they still have no strength. Reinforcements are on their way, thankfully. Right, they're reinforcing this area, which does very much worry me. I'm half tempted to drop some reinforcements off over here. Yeah, definitely need to reinforce the south of China. Okay, so interesting turn. I do believe we should be in range of cruiser mine layer. Are we in range? Probably not, actually. We might go for a more direct path. If we reach about here, we should be in range. I mean, we're probably in range shortly. We'll see. Well, we are dealing a good blow to the Allies here, so that's pretty nice to see. Submarines moving out. Ideally, we can pick these guys off. I don't like the fact that they have these patrol boats. Right, cargo moving. Okay, so we securely have this. Okay, so Brunei is garrisoned. It's taken them a very long time. Transport's there. Okay. Ah, you're not even marching, are you serious? Ugh. How are those ships near Kiributai? Kiributai? Kiributai. Kiributai. I'm not gonna lie, I actually don't know where that is. In regards to the Aleutian Islands, is it Aleutian Islands? Aleutian? I believe it's Aleutian Islands. Yeah, the Aleutian Islands. Not a waste of resources for the US to fight the Japs rather than let them freeze to death. Ooh. I suppose it's all about public opinion, really. Still really unhappy about the loss of so many armoured vehicles. That is really going to hurt me in the long run. So we do have to replace that. So that's going to take a fuckload of time. Okay. Right, these forces are in position over here. Ah, that's good. Actually in position to attack. So go for a deliberate attack. God damn, those forces are taking a long time. Those forces obviously need to stay. Well, a detachment need to stay to actually garrison that. Yeah, our carriers are near Sydney. We know. We should be able to launch an attack very soon. Actually, should be lovely. Very, very nice. Ideally, we find Lexington. I've not seen any evidence of Lexington so far for a long time, so who knows where she could potentially be. Alright, what are we dealing with here? 2,300 troops. We should be able to manage that. I mean, we obviously do have that bombardment capability here, which is rather formidable. Remain on station. Right, let's remain on station then. I mean, I do have a lot of battleships there as well, so that's a good thing. Right. We'll see how that goes. I reckon bombardment will carry the day. Okay, we finally reached over here. That's good. God damn it. Right, bombard. Okay. Should have a company or two of Marines so you could invade Sydney. That'd be funny. I would be able to take it, but it'd be very hilarious. I mean, there are some allied ships near your carrier task force. They transports. They are more than likely transports. I mean, they're going to be hit by the planes there. I mean, that's a CM, but I doubt that's a Lexington. Well, we could see. We could see. Who knows in the end? Right, let's take a look at the Hong Kong forces. See if they've actually recovered any sort of fatigue. It's actually not bad. I mean, it's a shame that we're not going to take Hong Kong the historical date, but well. Things happen, I suppose. We'll let them rest another turn, perhaps, then. And then Hong Kong should fall soon enough. Looks like we were forced to retreat over here. Were we? Or did I just capture that? I just captured that, apparently. Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, Chinese forces are moving over here, actually. It looks like they are massing, so that's rather interesting. We just need to secure this area, then we can really focus on other things. A lot of troops here. A lot of troops. Reconnaissance and tank as well, which is really important. Yeah, I need to get these moving. dive bombers. Not many of them, really. Okay, these guys are on training. Airfield attackers are not exactly... well, let's see. Okay. We'll go for ground attack. We'll hit over here then. Right, no fuel, so we need some fuel up at Tan Island. Okay. See if they can do anything. Take 2 tankers. Load fuel up. We can have that sent to the Philippines as well. Just a little bit to Bataan Island. Okay, so we have a lot of movement going on over here then. So we have the invasions over here that are shortly to commence in earnest. We are closing in on Singapore slowly but surely. We'll have engagement over here. We secure 2 strongholds on Borneo. Philippines invasion's going well enough, I suppose. Yeah, things are progressing. Things are progressing. We're closing in over here, so that's good to see. Huge blow to us in China. I mean, losing that many armoured vehicles really is very much unfortunate. But we'll have to deal with it. I mean, plenty of ships have been destroyed by Kitabutai, so hopefully we'll see in the next stream an attack on Sydney. So yes, thank you so very much, guys, for watching. I hope you've all had a great time. And as I'm trying to do every single time is give a shout out to my patrons. You guys really do make all of this certainly possible. So I shall give you a shout out shortly once it loads up. Okay. Uno momento. Okay, shout out to when it loads. Mr. Frank, thank you very much. Sun Yan, Craig, Ricky, Matthias, Gregory, Tomislav, Snake, Lord Luba, and Andy Wallace. Thank you so very much, guys. Thank you for donating. It really does make a big difference. I am going to link my Patreon if you guys would like to back me. It really does help me out a great deal and continues to make this a possibility. So thank you so very much, guys. Have a great evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Goodbye for now. Until next time.